Established in 2000, the Science National Honor Society is dedicated to creating a new cadre of scientific young people who will help run tomorrow's high-tech world. From celebrating these students to supporting their scientific endeavors each year, and for many years to come, the Science National Honor Society believes in empowering and supporting our students as they continue their scientific journey. We invite you tonight to join us in celebrating these students and supporting the purposes of the Science National Honor Society. Today, we recognize the accomplishments of a group of outstanding scientific students who have put forth a tremendous effort and shown great aptitude in the scientific field. Our head of school, Mr. Policino, welcomes you to celebrate this celebration and will share a few words.
Thank you, Dr. McDaniels. Welcome to all Bullis community members joining us this evening for the induction of our Science National Honor Society members. As a former member of the Bullis Science Department and someone who found great joy in teaching biology and environmental science, it is an honor and a privilege to welcome you tonight. The Science Department at Bullis provides our students with unique opportunities to study a wide range of topics. Those of you inducted tonight have taken full advantage of these opportunities afforded you by our outstanding teachers. You have completed labs, written detailed reports, and continued the quest for more knowledge about our living planet. You have also done this while enrolling in our most demanding classes and excelling. I would like to take a moment to thank AJ, Henry, and Dr. McDaniels for suggesting that we add the Science National Honor Society to our school program and congratulate them on seeing it to fruition. It is through hard work and determination that we bring new opportunities for our peers and our community. Lastly, I would like to leave you with a quotation from Marie Curie that seems more timely than ever as we navigate these challenging and unique times. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
I would like to thank our head of upper school, Mr. Policino, for welcoming these young scholars in their quest for scientific excellence during and beyond their Bullis years.
The Science National Honor Society was organized with the following objectives: encourage and recognize scientific and intellectual thought, advance students' knowledge of classical and modern science, communicate with the scientific community, aid the civic community with its comprehension of science, and encourage students to participate in community service and, in turn, encourage a dedication to the pursuit of scientific knowledge that benefits all of humanity.
The motto, inscribed in Latin on the Science National Honor Society shield, translates, "Fortunate is the one who understands the causes of things." It is indeed fortunate to have students like these here tonight who are willing to share their understanding of the causes of things with other students and community members.
Every member inducted as a full member into the Science National Honor Society this evening has met and maintained the following qualifications. Each member is classified as either a junior or a senior at Bullis. Each member must have and maintain an overall weighted average of 90. Each member must maintain an average grade of at least a weighted average of 90 across all science courses in grades 9 through 12. Each member must have credit for at least 2 honors or AP courses during or before their junior year. Each member must have credit for at least 1 AP course during or before their senior year. As a senior, a member must be enrolled in at least 1 upper-level science class to include STEM capstone, honors, or AP. Each member must be in good academic and behavioral standing at Bullis.
Each chapter of the Science National Honor Society is required to select and work on at least one project per school year. The purpose of the selected projects shall be to pursue the national objectives of the Science National Honor Society. Each chapter may either judge or host a local science fair contest, or assist in creating or maintaining a science club at school. Chapters shall also attempt to bring speakers from the scientific community into the school to the extent to which their resources and location allow.
We would like to introduce the advisor and faculty council for the Bullis School chapter of the Science National Honor Society. Faculty council member Mr. Paul Koziel teaches astronomy, physics, and AP Physics C mechanics. Faculty council member Ms. Laura Nutter teaches several science electives, biology, and AP biology. Faculty council member Ms. Rachel Stanoyevich teaches chemistry, physics, and AP Physics 1. And myself, the chapter advisor, Dr. Celeste Jamison McDaniels, I teach chemistry and AP chemistry and serve as the chair of the Upper School Science Department.
Before our induction and recognition ceremony, we will hear from our faculty speaker. Hailing originally from Memphis, Tennessee, Paul Koziel is now in his 11th year as a science teacher. With a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering and a master's in mechanical engineering, Paul has taught courses ranging from physical science to chemistry to calculus, including 5 different AP science courses. Paul wears many hats at Bullis, not only as a physics and astronomy teacher, but also as a STEM mentor and coordinator for the 10th grade class. At this time, please welcome our Science National Honor Society faculty speaker, Mr. Paul Koziel.
Thank you so much, Dr. McDaniels, Ms. Stanoyevich, Ms. Nutter, for having me this evening. It's quite an honor to be here. So I have a theory. Wouldn't be a good science teacher if I didn't have a few theories. And that theory is that our students inducted into the Science National Honor Society this evening are destined for great things. So while most people use the term theory as a speculative guess, science's use of the word tends to refer to something that is well supported, both by observations and by evidence. So naturally, there are many theories in the world, and sometimes there are even multiple competing theories about the same thing. So something else that's really important about theories is that they are close cousins of the typically mathematical theorems, which tend to be a little more restricted, they're a little more abstract, but they're based on very clear rules, of which the real world doesn't seem to have many. So theorems might be stronger in the end, but they're more narrow. Theories can support conclusions a little more weakly, but they apply more directly to real life. So let me begin with a story about something that began as a fairly infamous theorem in number theory about a fairly famous theorem. So that theorem is Fermat's theorem, his last theorem, in fact, and the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So in the 17th century, Pierre de Fermat was studying a book on number theory called Arithmetica, written by Diophantus of Alexandria in 250 AD. Quite an old math text. And in the margin of his text, Fermat noted that there was no other positive whole number exponent that would satisfy this relationship set up by Pythagoras' theorem. There's no a cubed plus b cubed equals c cubed, or fourth powers, or anything greater than a power of 2. But Fermat died before he could prove this conclusively. And so mathematicians would spend centuries in search of a counterexample or definitive proof of this Fermat's last theorem. So fast forward several hundred years. In 1906, a German man named Wolfskehl set a $2 million prize on his death to whomever could solve this riddle set by Fermat. In that first year, 621 proofs were presented. None of those succeeded in definitively proving Fermat's last theorem. So this strategy later became more trial and error, which I know many of our students are used to. And they tried to prove that certain combinations were impossible. So trying sets of numbers, seeing if we could find one that would satisfy this theorem. So following World War II, when we had computers jump into the mix, they could prove Fermat correct up to exponents of hundreds. Soon after that, thousands. In 1980, university professor got that number up to 25,000. Not too long after that, it was up in the millions. But that's still not definitive proof because we could go on infinitely. So, to pause for a second, it's 1963. A 10-year-old boy named Andrew Wiles in Cambridge, England, finds a book in the library called The Last Problem, describing Fermat's theorem. This intrigued that young math-inclined man and led to a lifelong devotion in the field of mathematics, eventually leading him to become a professor at Princeton and putting him in a position where he could continue his lifelong passion and research. So, back to the 1980s. 1986, a UC Berkeley professor made a breakthrough while working on a different mathematical conjecture that was linked to Fermat's theorem. And Weil caught wind of this, and it pulled his attention toward it, and he then began to work in secret, publishing a small amount of his own research every year to kind of throw his competitors off of his scent, and telling only his wife what he was working on for 7 years. Until finally, in 1993, he shared his proof to a stunned audience that was not expecting it. Funny enough, it contained a fundamental flaw, which Wiles then said, "No, I don't want any help. I want to try to correct this myself." And he tried that for several months before he finally said, "You know what? I need help." He brought a colleague into the mix, and they actually ended up going back to an earlier plan that he had tried that he discarded. So he revisited what he had worked on prior, and that ended up being exactly what he needed to conclusively prove Fermat's last theorem. So this fun mystery is that Fermat's theorem that he had created in the 17th century required math developed in the 1950s, centuries after he came up with it. So upon solving this, Wiles said, I love this quote, "I had the very rare privilege of being able to pursue in my adult life what had been my childhood dream. And I know it's a rare privilege, but if you can tackle something in adult life that means that much to you, then it's more rewarding than anything imaginable." So why am I sharing this story? It serves to illustrate that passion can get you started on the path to triumph, but it will almost always require a little bit or a lot of failure, definitely some course corrections, some collaboration, and then that final trial of convincing others. So, British philosopher and mathematician Bertrand Russell wrote that, broadly speaking, we are in the middle of a race between human skill as a means and human folly as an end. So how can scientists bridge the gap between those two ideals? We have to go beyond this theory that I've been talking about to communicating it, to earning trust. There have to be elements of mutual respect, discussion instead of attack, and recognition that changing facts don't necessarily mean changing world views. Above all, today's world needs scientists, and honestly, it just needs regular people who have the discipline to not only relate information to others, but adapt their own opinions as new facts arise. So, let me update my initial theory, or maybe a theorem at this point, that our students inducted into the Science National Honor Society this evening are destined for great things as long as they adapt and persevere as required of them. It's getting better, I think. But it's probably not a coincidence that philosophy, which is the search for meaning in life, when it surrounds those who are in scientific pursuits, is a little difficult to pin down, especially when you have such scrutiny placed upon you. And so since we're on the topic of theories, I think it's relevant to bring up a different philosopher, a modern philosopher, Philip Kitcher, who says that a good scientific theory has to have the following three characteristics. First, a good theory should be independently testable. Someone should be able to go and verify for themselves that this theory holds true. And so this is the first characteristic where most scientists begin, with a certain amount of skepticism, or at least the direction to go and find something out for themselves. And I am 100% certain that our inductees tonight have been tested time and again and will continue to be tested. Second, a good theory should be unified. A great theory has a small set of problem-solving strategies that can be applied to a wide range of applications. This is where school comes in, families at home as well. And it aids our budding scientists on the way to seeing how each new bit of info or strategy can be put to use. Whether it's a math algorithm or a lab procedure, each little bit just adds for further understanding. And our inductees tonight share this wonderful groundwork that was laid at home and here at Bullis. Third, a good theory should be fecund, fertile. It should lead to further questions. A flourishing science is one that always seeks more answers. And so this is where we have to end up, where many of these inductees find themselves currently. Not satisfied with simply knowing facts, they push past this shallow level of understanding and come up with fabulous what-ifs that stump their teachers. They dive deep into their capstone projects where that jargon jungle gets so dense that it's hard to cut through. And they always grin when they get it. They keep going right after that. Because each inductee's mind is nothing if not brimming with ideas. So allow me to update my theory one final time, and I hope you agree with me based on these characteristics that it's a good theory. Our students. That's it. They fit all the criteria for a good theory. They're supported by evidence, their accomplishments thus far. They work well not only as individuals, but with others. And they are filled with questions. They only have to be proven in time. So Einstein had the view that science can only ascertain what is, but not what should be. That is the task placed upon these inductees tonight. Always be curious, always be questioning, always be dreaming of what comes next. Thank you.
Mr. Koziel, thank you for those inspiring words to our inductees tonight as they continue to grow as scientists, scholars, and humanitarians, using their gifts to improve our society.
Now, to induct and recognize our inaugural Science National Honor Society members. The following students embody the attributes of our organization and represent excellence in all fields of science.
Henry Akins. Henry is described as an enthusiastic and motivated learner who is determined to learn in all science classes. Caroline Andersen. Caroline is an engaged and curious student that is an extremely helpful and approachable classmate in all of her science classes. Kira Andriadis. Kira is a dependable, hardworking, collaborative, and curious science student with a growth mindset. Lillian Bass. Lily is hardworking, invested, and interested in various science topics and passionate about what she is learning. Sam Bonham. Sam likes to get things done the right way while staying efficient and is not afraid to agree to disagree with others. William Bonham. Will does not back down from any challenges and goes above and beyond the required effort to have a complete understanding of what is being taught. Jerry Tsai. Jerry is a fast thinker and passionate about the mechanics behind all the concepts. Charlotte Caine. Charlotte is a determined science student who is persistent and focused on learning and growing in science. Eloise Chen. Eloise is perceptive and uses her environment to learn about scientific concepts.
Phil Delikouras. Phil has a natural and genuine curiosity that he channels into his passion for succeeding in all aspects of science. Aniya Dyer. Aniya is a dependable classmate that is never afraid to speak up if she does not understand something. Sammy Hudegi. Sammy is a highly curious learner where studying science often extends outside the classroom to learn the material just for its enjoyment. Mira Kara. Mira works hard and puts in a lot of effort to understand concepts and enjoys learning about various topics. Matthew Koff. Matt is a curious student who works hard to understand scientific topics and finds joy when his dedication to learning helps him overcome challenging subjects. Andrew LaMotta. AJ is a dedicated and committed student who is knowledgeable and very curious. Richard Lee. Richard is always eager to learn more, works diligently to get better at the subject matter regularly, and is always willing to help his peers. Teresa Lee. Teresa is a persistent and diligent student who learns from mistakes to understand the material better. Henry Maravilla. Henry learns best when he helps others, which allows him to reinforce his knowledge and understanding of the material.
Reese McHugh. Reese enjoys learning about science, which shows through his dedication and hard work. Sebastian Mekhaya. Sebastian is a very passionate and result-oriented learner who always tries to find a solution to problems. Paige Merril. Paige enjoys asking questions about science topics that immediately come to mind about related issues being discussed. Arman Naseh. Arman eagerly arrives at science classes and looks forward to making the most of his class time as he engages in work while staying attentive. August Phelps. August learns best through helping others understand the content and consistently delves more in depth into topics to grasp the more significant meanings and applications of a concept. Sarah Pollard. Sarah is a focused, hardworking team player and a thoughtful contributor who is always prepared for class. Natasha Popenoe. Natasha is passionate, curious, enthusiastic about learning scientific subjects and always willing to volunteer to help her classmates. Anna Robinson. Anna is quietly determined and gets excited about every new unit and pushes herself to understand each concept fully to get the most out of each science class.
Ariel Shao. Ariel takes her classes very seriously, concentrates on the topics presented, and contributes to the overall class as a learner. Ketis Seneschal. Ketis reflects a driven student who asks questions and always makes sure to assist his classmates. Claire Slort. Claire is an active learner who catches on quickly and can help others and often answers questions and gives her opinion in group discussions. Regan Smith. Regan works hard in all science classes, practices frequently to understand a concept, and never stops reaching for success. Henry Sun. Henry represents a quiet yet focused student who is ambitious and asks questions to better understand the larger phenomena in the world. Carolyn Tang. Carolyn handles difficult academic challenges well by taking advantage of extra help to clearly understand the concept and better support her classmates to grasp the material. Herry Wang. Herry likes to ask questions in his science classes and never hesitates to complete all his work to the best of his ability. Brad Yang. Brad is an active class participant, curious to learn all things while maintaining a sense of focused fun.
Science is woven into the fabric of our society. It will help students understand the causes of events in our world, from the macroscopic to the microscopic.
Science is a tradition that Hippocrates, Newton, Pasteur, and Hawking have all followed. The Science National Honor Society will help culture new scientists who will also develop in this discipline and improve our world.
Our new Science National Honor Society members have used their science studies to understand better how the world works around them. They use their scientific knowledge to illuminate the world of science for others.
On behalf of the Bullis School Science Department, we welcome you into the Science National Honor Society. Our head of school, Mr. Sullivan, will share congratulatory remarks with our inaugural Bullis School Science National Honor Society inductees.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's my great pleasure to congratulate the new members of the Science National Honor Society and to thank you for your hard work and dedication to science in particular. I'd also like to thank your science teachers, and not only the wonderful professionals that are your current teachers, but the teachers from your younger years, who I hope inspired in you a love of the sciences and a sense of wonder. I hope that sense of wonder never leaves you. A respect for rigorous science and genuine expertise in general is more important now than ever. Alternative facts, fake news, and the disparaging of experts are becoming more frequent phenomena that have the potential to handicap future human development. I urge you to not only engage in a thorough science education and rigorous future practice, but also to advocate for the value of science in the academic sphere and in the public realm too. And this is not to say that science and expertise should not be questioned. To the contrary, as you know, peer review and authentication is so important in dispelling doubts about the validity of research and study. I encourage you to welcome the well-intentioned questioning of your own work and to question everything around you too. So, once again, congratulations to you and thanks to your teachers. And please remember, the honor of this induction is not the end goal of your scientific education and work, but an encouraging moment and a stepping stone to your important scientific thinking and work in the coming years. Good evening, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. We appreciate your remarks and uplifting words for our scientific scholars. Two students, Andrew A.J. LaMotta and Henry Sun, were very passionate about establishing a Science National Honor Society at Bullis. Through hard work and determination, these two gentlemen have spent many hours working with me to see this day become a reality at Bullis. It is my pleasure to see this event come to fruition and have them a part of the special induction ceremony. As young leaders in our school and passionate science students, AJ and Henry continue to develop through a never-ending process of self-study, education, and experience. All great organizations need these types of forward-thinking students and leaders. One way to continue their leadership is to serve as Science National Honor Society officers. Serving as an officer in an organization will allow AJ and Henry to gain new experiences. Still, it will provide them an opportunity to grow and mentor future leaders of our chapter. With these precepts in mind, it is my pleasure to install our first Science National Honor Society Bullish Chapter co-presidents, AJ LaMotta and Henry Sun. As co-presidents, your duties and responsibilities are vast and varied. As the chief executive officers of this chapter, it will be your overall duty to maintain the organization's health during this school year. You shall cooperate with the faculty advisor, school administration, and chapter members to supervise our chapter's general activities. The co-presidents will preside at all meetings, appoint committees, and represent the chapter at all official organizational gatherings. Do you pledge to fulfill the duties and responsibilities of co-president and serve to the best of your ability your chapter members? If so, please answer, I do.
I do. I do.
At this time, it is my pleasure to turn the reins of leadership over to the chapter co-presidents, Henry and AJ, for closing remarks.
Good evening. I'm Henry. Alongside AJ and Dr. McDaniels, I helped to charter a chapter of the Science National Honor Society at our school. Before I began with my speech, I wanted to thank Dr. McDaniels. We've been planning a Science National Honor Society chapter at Bullis for over a year now, and even with the global pandemic throwing everything off course, I'm still here delivering a speech right now, and none of this would be possible without her. I'm not great at giving speeches, so I decided to structure my speech like a lab report, which is something I'm more familiar with. Section 1, Abstract. Scientific reasoning is the key to unlock our universe's mysteries. As Louis Pasteur best put it, science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch that illuminates the earth. This experiment with the Science National Honor Society seeks to nurture a group of caring, motivated students who are always asking questions. Who knows? Maybe someone sitting in the Zoom call with their camera turned off will be the one to discover extraterrestrial life someday. Section 2, Procedure. Bullis's SNHS is going to look a lot different than we originally planned. Many activities we thought of are simply not possible with COVID. But that's just another variable we have to take into account with our experimental design. And like any scientist, that's a challenge we face regularly. We've got plenty of ideas, including online webinars or virtual experiments for what our institution can do. No matter what, we seek to facilitate a love and understanding of science, and even a pandemic won't be able to stop us. Section 3, Results Analysis. I originally wanted to talk about how science cannot be measured by a grade and use Albert Einstein as an example, since he supposedly failed math. Then when I looked it up, I realized that wasn't true, and in school he was pretty brilliant. But that's not a big deal. Making mistakes is a natural part of the scientific process. But like Einstein himself said, everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking it is stupid. Our results clearly show you don't have to be the next Einstein or find a cure for cancer to make scientific contributions, because every little piece is relevant and deserves attention. Section 4, Conclusion. I really like inspirational quotes, so I'll conclude with this one from Carl Sagan. The nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, and the iron in our blood were made in the interiors of collapsing stars. We are made of star stuff. The cosmos is within us. We are a way for the universe to know itself. Every single one of us is a different star. SNHS's application asked for students to explain a scientific phenomenon which interested them. The responses were so varied, ranging from skin tones to relativity to climate change. But we all share one thing, which is our love for science. I'm so glad to have the chance to work with people who love this subject as much as I do, and I'm hopeful for what the future of the SNHS at Bullis can be long after AJ and I graduate. Thank you.
Hi, I'm AJ, the other founder of the first Bullis Science National Honor Society chapter. I would like to second what Henry said about Dr. McDaniels, as she really is the reason that any of this is happening right now. And also, thank you, Henry, for those great remarks. Before our ceremony ends, I'd like to give my own 2 cents about science. Science is a large and ever-changing field. But the ironic thing is that the fundamental nature of the universe isn't really changing. Well, the universe is constantly expanding, yeah. But what about gravity? Gravity still exists today as it did years ago. What has changed is what humans know about gravity. And why is that? Scientific knowledge emerged from the curiosity of humans. Whether gravity exists or not, we could have chosen to ignore it. If I drop an apple, it falls, big deal. Why study the acceleration at which the apple falls? Or how that might be related to the movement of celestial bodies. Humans decided, for better or for worse, that those questions are actually interesting. And scientists over the years have studied them and so many other questions voraciously. So what's the point of science anyway? To have a better understanding of the universe? Well, yeah, that's the main goal of science. But why should we have a better understanding of the universe? Obviously, there are practical applications. But let's be honest. If it was just about practical applications, physicists wouldn't be attempting to create a unifying theory of quantum gravity. Practical applications, while sometimes the motivation, are more often than not a result of science. The real motivation to study science is curiosity. There is an innate desire in all of us to understand how and why things work. And as long as all of you nurture that desire, you all can be great scientists. Thank you.
I cannot thank you enough, Henry and AJ, for your remarks. We are so fortunate to have both of you as leaders of our inaugural Science National Honor Society chapter. You will chart a course for unprecedented growth of sciences at Bullis. On behalf of the Bullis School, we would like to congratulate all of you on your hard work and installation into the Science National Honor Society. This is an honor that you will be able to carry with you throughout your educational journey. Congratulations.